I represent Mexico.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? Boy, oh boy, you know things are bad for Canelo Alvarez when Mike Tyson is exposing him. Because if you know Mike Tyson, then you know he never says anything negative about a fighter that's not black. So this says a lot when Mike Tyson is criticizing Canelo. I mean, when you really think about it, you got Stephen A. Smith and Mike Tyson criticizing Canelo Alvarez right now. I mean, what is this boxing world coming to? So Mike Tyson, he just did a recent interview and he said, what's wrong with Canelo? Is he afraid of losing? Doesn't he want to give the fans the fight they want to see? Do you not respect the legacy of the great Mexican champions who face the best regardless of the money? This is a shame for boxing and for Mexico. If I was him, I would accept the fight with Benavidez and show the world that he's the best. But it seems he doesn't have the courage to do it. It is a shame because he has a lot of talent, but lacks heart. Damn. You know, guys, the last time the walls was closing in on Canelo Alvarez, he was forced to either fight Bivol or fight Benavidez and Charlo or Errol Spence when he was stuck between those two deals with DAZN and PBC. He chose to go with the DAZN deal because he's obviously had a lot of success beating up the European fighters. But he finally ended up running into the wrong European fighter in Dimitri Bivol. Now the walls are closing in on Canelo again, but this time it's way worse because everyone is on Canelo's helmet, including Mike Tyson, who just said Canelo Alvarez has no heart and basically said he's an embarrassment to his country of Mexico. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Canelo Alvarez is back in negotiations with PBC, and according to reports, he's trying to strike a deal to fight Jaime Munguia in May and Jamal Charlo in September. Not David Benavidez. I'm telling you guys right now, at this point, every single time Canelo Alvarez announces a fight and it does not include David Benavidez's name, he's going to receive more and more backlash. It's just going to get worse and worse from this point. First, Canelo Alvarez, he said he wasn't fighting David Benavidez because he was Mexican and he represents Mexico. Now he's choosing to fight a Mexican in Jaime Munguia. About a year later, after he made that excuse, that's when the pressure first started with the media. They start finally asking Canelo about fighting David Benavidez a little bit more. This time, Canelo didn't use the Mexican excuse. He said, come on, man, who has he fought? He hasn't fought anyone. And then right after he said that, David Benavidez, he beats Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade back to back, beating Demetrius Andrade, a man that Canelo Alvarez had been avoiding for almost 8 years. So now Canelo Alvarez is completely out of excuses. But even though Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, there are two people that are empowered to do something about this: the WBC and PBC. PBC can put their foot down and they can force Canelo Alvarez to sign a deal that includes him fighting David Benavidez. And the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, he can do his damn job and strip Canelo Alvarez of that WBC belt, with David Benavidez being the mandatory. Mauricio has already stated that David Benavidez will officially become Canelo's mandatory this month. And he was basically giving Canelo Alvarez the opportunity to fight one more fighter in May before he's forced to fight David Benavidez. And now it turns out Canelo's still not planning on fighting David in September. So that means the WBC, they have to do what they're supposed to do, their job, and strip this man. Because if they strip Canelo Alvarez of this belt, trust me, Canelo is going to be extremely embarrassed, because that would literally be him surrendering and waving the white flag. That would be him basically giving his country up instead of fighting for it, defending his country, metaphorically speaking, as if this was a war. So I think from this point on, Canelo Alvarez, no matter who he fights, if he's not fighting against David Benavidez or a Terrence Crawford, because of course that would do big numbers, if he's not fighting one of those guys, I truly believe his pay-per-view numbers are going to be on the decline. So it'll be interesting to see what Canelo Alvarez does next and what he plans on doing in September. Oh yeah, one more thing. I remember when Canelo Alvarez was on Mike Tyson's show, Hot Boxing, and Mike Tyson, he was talking about the Abney Yildirim fight, because for some reason, out of all the Canelo Alvarez fights, Mike Tyson, he decides to go to this fight live to watch it. So he asked Canelo on the show, he said, hey man, what was going on with that guy you fought, the last guy? He said he looked like he didn't come to fight. He looked like he just came to show up for a payday. And Canelo Alvarez said, oh, well, I had to fight him because that was my mandatory. Oh, well, if it's that simple, then how come you're not fighting David Benavidez? He's your mandatory and has been your mandatory way longer than Avni Yildirim was. And we never heard him say, who has Avni Yildirim fought? Despite the fact that Yildirim was actually coming off of a loss and a 2-year layoff. But somehow he becomes the WBC #1 contender. We know what time it is. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
And plus pay-per-view buys to fight Benavidez.
Canelo?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on him turning down the $55 million plus pay-per-view buys to fight
$55 million
to fight Benavidez?
Yeah. I'll fight him. Jeez.
That was great. That was my next question. Would you fight him? Would you have fought
look,
Benavidez?
I seriously do not understand why Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez, because a lot of fans are going against Canelo now for not making that fight. He might have his reason. Maybe he's waiting. I don't know. Maybe he's waiting for September. Who knows? But I think that the more he waits, Canelo's not a spring chicken anymore. He's getting a little older and a lot of wear and tear, and Benavidez is just getting better. So if he ever thinks of fighting him, it better be now.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
An important message from Youth Fountain Laboratory, makers of VasoFlux and VasoFlux for Men. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856. And remember, to help unclog veins and arteries, get the plaque out.